I don't see how carrying the dread in the country is a problem.
Lagos State, your worst.
Let me tell you something. Where you have your property is where your mind will be.
Well, majority of the state government set up judicial commissions of inquiry, which have investigated police brutality in the country. And awards are going to be made. Some damages will be paid, but that's not enough. As far as we are concerned, nothing has changed. Police brutality continues, extrajudicial killings continue, the extortion of money from ordinary people continue. So until we are able to put an end to the brutality of our people by the police and other security agents, we can't say we have won. And that is not possible under a neo-colonial arrangement. Because the police now, the police you have, remain a neo-colonial institution. They are like the police set up by the colonial regime. And those who are in power do not represent our people. So the police they have set up, the army they have set up, the other security agencies that have been set up are directed to harass our people and intimidate them all the time. And that is why our people, the oppressed people, must be united. Because it's only people that are united that cannot be defeated. So we need our people to be united. Take their political destiny in their hands and ensure that they are represented by those who can protect their interests. Yeah, that's the only way you can stop police brutality.
So gradually it's going to become 1 year that the mass shooting in Lekki happened, where unfortunately the peaceful, the well-coordinated EndSARS mass rallies that culminated in a movement that eventually became a movement was truncated very tyrannically by the Buhari-led administration. It's, that's the good thing about history. History never forgets. No doubt, young Nigerians were wasted. A lot of lives were wasted. And it's so unfortunate that we're in a situation or in a system where there's absolute lack of accountability. There's a lack of remorse on the part of the ruling class, the political class. And that's the highest form of decadence, that any society can descend into. And that's what we have in Nigeria, which is quite unfortunate. So as we have said, it's going to become 1 year that happened. And look at the trajectory, look at what has happened since then. Would you say that there has been proper accountability? Has it even looked at all as if we have a government that is ready to do right by the people, to show that their hands are clean? So we don't need any native doctor. Right now, it is very obvious to any eye that is watching that the government's hands are not clean. Because if your hands were, you would have taken proper steps. You would have taken steps that are not only on paper but are also visible to the eyes to ensure that you are trying to seek justice, to bring perpetrators to book. But then maybe I shouldn't be surprised, because maybe the perpetrators were the government or people in government, because that's the only reason that anybody will still be sitting on the fence at this moment. And every day in, day out, you hear this denial coming from the government quarters. Oh, nobody died, oh, nobody was killed, and so on. But if you have followed judiciously the panels of inquiry, especially the one in Lagos, the proceedings that have been going on, you will see that there has been a lot of hanky-panky. So everybody now knows who the deceiver is. So it's an unfortunate situation, but that's where we are. But does that mean that as Nigerians we are going to suddenly sit down, forget about it, and then console ourselves? No. And that's the reason some of us are still, we keep going to say, look, accountability is not a day's job. We have to keep demanding it and let them know there's something called the people power. The people put you there, or however you got there anyway, but the people always outnumber that 1%, that is in government per time. So it's a matter of time. I'm glad that now we are working in a space where there's real-time technology. So people are following day-to-day occurrences and how they happen and how they unfold as well. So as we speak, justice has not been done for either general citizens or people who were direct victims, of police brutality or even government brutality. Look at events that went on immediately after the truncation of October 20. After that truncation, look at the chain of events. Government started intimidating citizens. People's homes were just busted into, without any form of notice, without any decency on the part of government. And that is even still going on as we speak. Accounts were frozen and so on. No sense of, accountability, no sense of integrity on the part of the government. But not to worry. Some of us went further. I know a few organizations, including mine, Corporate Accountability and Public Participation Africa, we went further to The Hague, and what we did was to bring it to their attention. We filed the petition, we moved the motion, but as we speak also, nothing has come from that quarters. But then, as I said, we can never get to a point where we give up or be discouraged, because at that point, that means there's no hope anymore. But we know that there's hope, because the people will always be more powerful than that 1% of the 1% that we call the government. So, on the 20th of October, which is going to be the first anniversary, CAPA, for instance, is planning to launch a documentation that we have done, because there has been a lot of denial. Government still says, there was no victim, there was no. So we took our time to go after those people, to interview them. So we have their stories on paper now. And a few people have come up with, stories here and there of 1 or 2 victims and so on. But what we did was a compilation, and that's going to come out on the 20th of October, and it's going to be well circulated, just to show the hypocrisy of the political class once again, and the ruling class, as a matter of fact, because there's a difference between governance and rulership. What we're experiencing currently is rulership, it's not governance. So on the 20th of October, which is going to be the first anniversary of the Lekki shooting, we're going to see that documentary and the book documentation that has told the stories of these people, putting faces to the stories, these people telling their stories themselves, and the unfortunate ones who died, their families telling their stories as well. Everything is contained. Coming to the issue of insecurity in the country, it would be really laughable if it wasn't so tragic and so heart-wrenching. You look at a giant country like Nigeria with such a huge, vibrant population, and you see the mess that government has made of its people. Look at the state of security. It's nothing to write home about. Now, so-called bandits are jubilating because they said they have overpowered the Nigerian government, overpowered the Nigerian military. And can you call them liars? We have video evidences everywhere, them jubilating with sophisticated weapons. Yet we have security votes in this country. We know the billions that go into that. And then you want to tell me that some bandits just from nowhere somehow just happen to have more sophisticated weapons, even more than our military? Something is fishy. And it also shows that there's more to this story than meets the eye, and you have also the hypocrisy of government that labels some group as terrorists or others as enemies of the state, while we keep calling these people bandits. Why do we keep calling them bandits? These are people who are killing and maiming and bringing destructions per day. These are terrorists, for God's sake. So let the government do the needful, let them declare them as such, and then come after them with every power that is available. Otherwise, the Nigerian people would have no choice but to believe that probably there's more to this than meets the eye. Probably they're sponsored somewhere, because there have been insinuations, but the government every day just keeps focusing on issues that are very mundane, issues that are very senseless, while leaving the major issues of state, unattended to. So that shows that there's even lack of prioritization in the government. Priorities have been messed up. You find us, how they will say you major on minor and you minor on major. That is what is currently going on. And this does not bring joy to the heart of an average Nigerian that loves this country. So as my sister Aisha Yusufu will always say that no Nigerian is more Nigerian than any Nigerian. It is really true. But this set of people parade themselves, set of people call this political class and so on, as though they have more stake in this nation called Nigeria. We are all Nigerians, and a lot of our young brains are now escaping from the country, because even when you escape the economic hardship, insecurity is likely to kill you. Kidnappers are everywhere, terrorists are everywhere, the ones we are brandishing as bandits. You know, people under the guise of headsmen or whatever name you call them, they have taken over the state, and government seems to be powerless. So everything we hear every day is just, oh, we're on top of the situation, but we don't see you on top of the situation. As a matter of fact, you seem to be really under the situation. The situation is beginning to swallow you. So it's very simple. It's a call to action, and if you can't act, vacate the position. Let the Nigerian people take their own destiny in their own hands. So for an average Nigerian that loves this country, we are angry. So if you find any Nigerian that is not angry right now, probably they are just tired. So it's that situation of perplexity and hopelessness, and we don't want it to get there. We have children that are growing. What are we going to tell them? What are we going to hand over to them? So we have a set of people who are parading as rulers, but who probably don't even have the love of this country at heart. So I think those are my few words for this season. Let's watch as situations progress. We will keep doing our part as citizens, but we are encouraging everyone who has a role to play to take their place and play a role, or get out of the position, so that people who can do it will do it.
Let me begin by stating that history will continue to remember October 20, not just because young people were killed, but more importantly because young people in this country historically recorded for all times the possibility of the making of a revolution in Nigeria. In their organized numbers, religion was put aside, ethnic origin and nationalism were put aside, and people were united on the basis of struggling against police brutality, a phenomenon that has continued to exist in the Nigerian society, with the ruling elites and the ruling class refusing to do anything about this phenomenon. As we approach October 20, this great day in the history of Nigeria is not a day that all of us are in a hurry to forget. It's important to state that all of those names, people like Sunday Okon, people like Lucy, who were cut down on that very day at the toll gate, will be names that all of us will live to remember. But again, like some of us made quite clear then, the Lagos state government only lashed on the popularity of that event to put in place a panel, thinking that creating an illusion that all of the issues as raised by young people will be addressed. Since then, the police have returned back into full-blown activities. We've recorded new incidents of police brutality against Nigerians. But again, like we also pointed out then, if we must resolve the issues of state repressions against Nigerians, those who benefit from it are not going to be the ones who will sit in judgment to say that issues will be resolved. So first and foremost for us, as we approach October 20, we must use this day again to remind Nigerians, to remind working people in this country the key lessons of those events. And the key lessons are clear. Number one, we can organize to transform this country. Number two, Nigerians are not afraid, to be sacrificed in the process, of ensuring that this country is reorganized. And we can't rely on all of the structures of the state, whether the local government, the state, or the federal government, to bring this new Nigeria into place. As the panel closes its sitting come October 19, 2021, the questions that we posed, will not be answered by this panel. And what are those questions? Will compensation be paid to the millions of Nigerians, that are suffering from all of the police brutality that continue to work till date? Is the Nigerian state ready to fund and provide all of the necessary equipment to ensure that even the police operate democratically as a civil organ to protect Nigerians? All of the incidents of violence in all parts of Lagos and all parts of Nigerians, the police lack all of the necessary training and equipment to deal with all of this issues. And the fault are not the ordinary rank and file Nigerian police. The fault is that of the ruling elites who are comfortable with the nature and character of the kind of police force we have in the country as at now. So we want to say that the names of all of these young men shot and killed by the Nigerian state will continue to live in our hearts forever.